Welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast, where we'll talk about spirituality, the paranormal, religion, and my journey in becoming a Mormon medium. I'm Nanette Ride. Thanks for listening. Now let's go have some fun.
Don't be afraid. Close your eyes. There's a moon overhead, but the sun will rise. Blood on her lips, such a poisonous bite. The sound of her heart go bump, bump, bump in the night.
Hello and welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Nanette.
And today we have got a special episode because we've got LtG from the PSS After Hours podcast on with us. So if you haven't listened to PSS After Hours, make sure you go over and find them. Fantastically done podcast.
Totally awesome. Go watch it.
Absolutely.
I watch their YouTube stuff.
Yeah, Nan watches it on YouTube. I listen to it on iTunes, but they are on all of the podcasts that you utilize. The cool thing is LtG is the skeptic on their show. PSS After Hours is all about ghost stories and debunking them or proving them one way or another. I'm going to let LT tell you a little bit about his story and who he is, and then we're going to just chat and have a lot of fun.
Yeah. So first, thanks for letting me come down and sit here with both of you. You know, I think the world of both of you. I'll introduce myself and then tell you why I was so interested in coming down and speaking with both of you. I worked with Brad for a number of years with Highway Patrol, but more intimately on the state SWAT team. Brad was our K-9 handler, and he did so much for the team, and I just think the world of him. So it was great to have him on the team with us. I did my time on there and retired in 2017, and then I was a lieutenant over a security company that was at the Gateway Mall in Salt Lake. And this is where the whole PSS After Hours thing came about, where my interest in this paranormal stuff came in. Because growing up, I never experienced anything. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Nothing. Not a thing. Never. The closest thing I can tell you that I got to something is I saw The Exorcist when I was like 7, and it freaked me out.
Same.
Like, that's it.
show?
It's not good.
No, that one still gets me to this day. I can't watch it.
No, I can't even
watch it.
think about it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just like images of it come back through. I watched it when I was a sophomore in high school, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
What is this shit? And then I had to drive home that night. Yeah, terrifying drive home.
I remember watching it at, I think I was 8 or 9, and watching it at a friend's house and being so freaked out. I got on my bike and I rode home as fast as I could, and I just laid down with my mom and dad. I was just like, oh my gosh, I was just freaked out. But then nothing after that. No, grandparents would pass away and no feelings of anything. Never experienced shadows or just anything. Nothing.
Right,
No
nothing.
feelings, nothing. Until I worked at the Gateway Mall. And I kind of told the story on our first podcast that we did with PSS After Hours, but real quick, I'll give the Reader's Digest version. So there's a Union Pacific building downtown Salt Lake. And it's, for those people that don't know, it's directly west of the Vivint Center where the Jazz play now. Connected to that building, and it's part of the building, is what we called the elevator lobby. Now, the Union Pacific building, very, very old building. Very old building. It's where obviously the train tracks used to run behind it, in case people don't know. But the elevator lobby now, there's a main floor that you walk in on, and there's a second story, a third story, and those are office buildings. Just 2 different office spaces. Well, we would have to go into that at about 7:30 every night, and you would lock it up. So when you go in to lock it up, you go in, close the doors, lock the doors, you walk immediately to your left. There's an elevator, and what the guys would regularly do, because they were too lazy to walk up the stairs, they'd ride the elevator to the second floor and then lock the elevator on the second floor, and then they would walk up to the third floor. But me, I had pulled so many people out of that elevator, I was like, if I get stuck in this elevator, they're going to leave me in there all night just to be funny.
Wait, so the elevator would stop and leave people stranded?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. The last time that it happened to one of our guys, the elevator maintenance company was there, and this will come into play with this building. The elevator maintenance company came to the building, and they had just fixed it that day. Put a whole new motor on it, new switches, electricals, everything. And one of the dudes got stuck. And I got over there and I opened up the doors.
That's terrifying.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be stuck in it. Now, this is before I knew anything or had anything occur or happen to me in this building. I just figured, stupid elevators. Right? So we open it up, I pull my buddy out, we get him out, and I go over to the switches because I was there with the elevator maintenance guy, show me what to do, and I'm clicking stuff, and it's just not working. Not working. It's like, oh man, we got to call him back. Call him back the next day, and it's working fine. Very next day, it's working completely fine again. Anyway, fast forward to where I go in to lock it up. So I walk in, elevator immediately to your left. You keep walking, then there's the door that you take that goes upstairs, and then there's the next door on the same first level. There's a next door that goes downstairs into the basement and the underbelly, which in and of itself, I'm the skeptic, as we've said, it's a creepy basement because it's creepy and dark. That's it. You know, there's no feelings. I didn't feel anything. I wasn't scared. It's just creepy because it's a dark, creepy hallway.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Like, the dark is inherently creepy. I don't care where you are. You don't know what's there. And it's just your mind starts playing tricks on you of thinking, oh, maybe there is something there. And so that's why that was creepy to me. But anyway, I go into, have you heard this story, Nan?
Mm-mm.
Oh, this would be interesting to see what you think.
Well, I have images in my head, so I'm super curious to hear the
Yeah.
rest.
So
Yeah.
I walk in and I leave the elevator where it is because I'm going to take the stairs. So I go to that door and I walk up. As I'm walking up the stairwell, I hear little kids laughing, like laughing all around me, like echoing in the stairwell. And my initial thought is, somebody's still in this damn building. I'm trying to lock it up. I gotta lock this up now. I'm kicking them out. So I go to the second floor and I walk down, and the Ragnar offices used to be on that floor. So I walk to the doors. It's completely dark. Nobody's in there. It's locked up. Just to make sure, I open everything up. I go walking in. Not a soul in there. Close the doors. Call the elevator up, and this comes into play in a second, why I'm explaining exactly what I did with the elevator. I bring it up to the second floor, and I lock it on the second floor. You have to actually stick a key into the lock to lock it on the second floor, and the doors stay open when you lock it. So I lock it on the second floor. I then walk back into the stairwell. I start walking up, and I start hearing the little giggling again. And I'm like, man, they're up on the third floor. Now I'm really good and pissed, right? Now I'm really pissed. So I go up to the third floor. Not a soul up there either. Nobody. So at this point, I'm still thinking, logical explanation. Something's going on. Like, there's vents or something, you know, that's going through my mind. So I go back in after I check that office space. I go back in, I'm walking down the stairs, and I start hearing them laughing again. So I take my right ear and I put my right ear to the wall, because next door it was a museum. They called it the Hall of Breakfast, where they had a bunch of interactive exhibits kind of for kids to do. So I thought, that's where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. That's definitely has to be there. So I put my ear next to the wall, and I can't hear out of my left ear because of Brad Marshall and him shooting next to my ear. But so that's why I had to put my right ear next to the wall. So I put my right ear next to the wall, and I don't know how to explain it even today. I can't hear out of my left ear, but the laughing was echoing all over. I pull my ear away, and the laughing's echoing all in the stairwell. And it's little kids laughing. It's like that playful kind of, giggling. Mm-hmm. And I'm still not freaked out. I'm just pissed because I don't know where it's coming from. So I walk back downstairs and I go, I'm going over the Hall of Breakfast. That place is supposed to be closed too. So I lock everything up and I go over to the Hall of Breakfast. I go in there. It's completely closed, not a soul. So I come out, and now even me, being a skeptic, having nothing happen to me my entire life, I'm kind of scratching my head as I'm walking back to the control room. I'm walking back and I'm like, what the heck? So I go into the control room and I sit down, and the guys are in there, and when I'm with the guys, I would usually BS with them and talk to them, but I'm sitting there just trying to make sense of what just occurred in my head. One of the guys goes, hey, LT, what's up? Nothing. No, really, what's up? You usually are talkative, like, what's going on? So now I'm definitely not telling these guys is what I'm thinking in my head, right? There's no way I'm telling these guys what just happened. And they go, no, seriously, what's up? I said, I just had something strange happen. And they all go, oh. And now I'm thinking one of two things. They're going, oh, because they're going to make fun of me, or oh, because maybe they've had something happen.
Yeah.
So I just bite the bullet and I go, I just had the strangest thing happen. And I explained the whole story I just explained. And they all looked at me and they go, yeah, no shit. Stuff like that happens around here all the time. And I went, what? What do you, no, this is not true. And they're all stone-faced looking at me. And each one of them goes around the room and they start telling their stories about different stuff. Not just, they never heard the little kids laughing, but they had doors slamming. They had toilets flushing, different stuff like that happening, which toilets flushing, I think is a different deal, but you can listen to the podcast for that one. It's kind of an interesting one, but we kind of go through all that but every one of them had a story. Well, that night, as we're still sitting there that night, okay, the big bank of video monitors for the surveillance cameras are in the control room. Mm-hmm. And I worked the swing shift, so it was 3 to 11, and the graveyard shift comes in, and I would sit down and I would shoot the breeze with the graveyard sergeant because I loved him, loved the guy. He's a retired Honolulu PD cop. So cool dude, super cool dude. Jason Sedeng, if he's listening, what's up, brother? So he just a phenomenal guy. I loved him. And we're just sitting there talking, and I'm looking up at the screens. He's kind of turned a little bit behind his desk, and he's kind of looking at the screens a little bit. And we're all sitting. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention is, in order to turn the lights off for the elevator lobby or on, you have to go down to that creepy basement I was talking about. Mm-hmm. And you have to go through a couple of different hallways and get to a locked door, open the door, go into the room with all of the breakers, open the correct bank of breakers, and find the exact 2 switches for the lights.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I did everything and I turned the lights off with the breakers. Close it. That's the only way you can turn lights on. There's no light switches.
Weird.
None. So now we're sitting. We're sitting here, and all of a sudden, we see, first of all, the lights turn on. Boom. Lights turn on in elevator lobby. And Jason looks over at me and he goes, hey, brother, I thought you said you turned off the lights. And I said, I did, man. He goes, look. And I was like, did you see? I just saw him come on. So get a hold of maintenance and see what they're doing. So we get on the radio, get a hold of maintenance. And there's one maintenance guy, and he's like on the south end of the property. And so now we're going, what? So now everybody starts telling their different stories about stuff. And we're sitting there, and then the lights turn off. All of them turn off again. Like, what the? And we're all looking at each other, and they're laughing because they're saying weird crap like this happens all the time. And then the weirdest thing happened. All of a sudden, elevator doors open on the first floor. Elevator's on the first floor. And Jason once again looks at me and goes, I thought you said you locked it up correct, bro. And I was like, I did, brother. I promise. I locked it up properly. But like I said, you have to go to the second floor and physically insert a key and lock it to the second floor.
That's crazy.
And the doors open, and you could see in the elevator, and the lights on in the elevator. No other lights are on. I'm like, what the hell? Now, here's something I didn't even say on the podcast because I don't have proof of it anymore because the video got erased. But I even hesitate to talk about it because I'm not even sure I believe what I saw.
Oh, you brought it up. Now you're stuck.
So,
Bring it.
So it looks out. The camera kind of, you walk in, and like I said, it's hard for people to get a picture of this in their heads as we're talking about it. But if you were to walk into the building, you're walking west. If you were to look up in kind of the northwest corner, that is where the camera sits, and it looks back towards you, right? Mm-hmm. So it sees from the opposite direction where you're looking in. As we're sitting there watching this, you see this shadow, and it's dark in there, but there's a little bit of illumination from, I think it's Fourth West that's coming in. And you see this dark shadow all of a sudden just kind of appear, and then it walks past the doors and kind of, obviously it dims a little bit once it gets to the windows, and then it dims again, and then you see it, and then it just boop, disappears.
Damn.
Then it doesn't end there. This is why it's so weird, especially for somebody like me that's very pragmatic. And I know, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm
look.
getting goosebumps. Yeah. You can
Yeah,
see it
because
on
even
his
thinking
leg.
about it now.
Oh.
But then, and it's hard to explain the setup, like I said, without anybody seeing it, but where that camera's looking down, there's a little kind of corner where the elevator is for the elevator lobby. Then there's illumination from that corner, like a faint light that you could see. And I'm pointing it out to the guys. I'm like, what is that? What is that? I said, somebody's shining a flashlight in the window. Somebody's shining a flashlight in the window. And I said, somebody's screwing with us. I'm going over there. Who's coming with me? And once again, I just love doing Jason's Hawaiian accent. He was like, I ain't going with you, brother. And I was like, come on, man. I go, come on. You got to come with me. Like, somebody come with me. I wasn't scared to go because I'm just angry.
Right.
I'm angry going, this isn't,
Yep.
I'm just mad. And so I go running over there, and I'm going, none of you guys are going? And the rest of them are freaked out. So they're like, Jason wasn't freaked out. He just didn't want to go. He was like, I ain't going. But everybody else is freaked out. So I go sprinting over there. I get over there, boom, pop open the doors. And as I'm running and I'm getting ready to pop open the doors, Jason gets on the radio, and he goes, elevator's not there anymore. So I pop open the doors, and I go in, and sure enough, I press the button for the elevator. Elevator won't come down. So I'm just angry. So I go back into the stairwell. I go up the stairwell to the second floor, and sure enough, elevator's sitting there. The door's open, locked on the second floor.
Just like you left it.
Snap.
Just like I left it.
Oh,
So,
snap.
yeah. So I'm still not freaked out.
You aren't?
No, I'm angry. I'm angry, right? I'm angry. I'm like, because I'm in this dark building by myself. It hasn't even occurred to me that what I'm seeing, because like I said, I'm a skeptic. It's still not occurring to me that this could be something paranormal, I guess, right? So it's still not even hitting me.
I still
Not
just
even
love
hitting
how everyone's like, nope,
Nope.
I'm not going.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how they were. And I was like, ugh, come on.
Peace out.
So I'm still not freaked out. So I just kind of walk down the stairs and I go back and I kind of stand in the corner where I saw the light too, because I'm thinking somebody had to flash a flashlight in there, but the light wasn't coming from the window. The light was literally coming from the corner. Like you couldn't see a light bulb or anything down there, and there's nowhere to put a light bulb. There's no sockets to plug anything in. And why would somebody plug a socket? We would have seen it. It would have been on video.
Right.
But there was this illumination. And so I was just, I'm looking in that corner and I'm looking, didn't feel anything else, didn't hear anything, didn't hear the laughter again, nothing. And so I just go back out and I take off. So there were 5 people in there that I told that story to. One of them was a guy named Matt. So fast forward, I think it was a week. Fast forward a week. And I had told Matt about the elevator lobby and what had happened. And he was sitting there with me when all this went on. And he's a huge believer in the paranormal. So he's totally freaked out at this point. So he's got a guy on FTO. And they're walking over. And people had told them different stories about crazy stuff that had happened there. But nobody told him about my laughing, because I said, don't tell anybody else. I don't want them to think I'm crazy. And they're like, oh, no, we won't tell anybody. So they didn't tell this new guy. It's like his second day on the job. And Matt's taking him in there to show him how to lock up the elevator lobby. As Matt tells the story, they walk in. So he's taken him to the stairs. He's like, well, G likes me to actually walk up the stairs, so we're going to walk up the stairs. And so he goes and he's fumbling for a key. He grabs the key, puts it in the lock of the door that takes you up the stairs, and it's the wrong key. And they hear, as Matt tells it, he hears laughing. And he's like, and so he tries to grab another key and he tries to put the key in, and it's the wrong key again. And he hears the giggling again. And Matt turns around and looks at the new guy and then doesn't say a word, didn't say, did you hear that? Anything. Because I got to know the kid that was on FTO later, and good dude and skeptic too. And when Matt turned around and looked at him, he goes, yep, I heard it too. We're out of here. And they both took off. Right? And so now let me take you back in time a little bit more. And the way I look at this is you start having to kind of do building blocks, right? If you get so many building blocks, then at some point in time, to me, there's your evidence and it's irrefutable.
Yeah.
Something's going on,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And even though I'm a skeptic, I can't deny building blocks. I just can't do it. So let me back you up to my second week on the job. Hunter was the name of his great kid. He ended up being the assistant director down there. Really good kid. He was showing me around how to lock everything up, and he took me in through the basement of the elevator lobby, and we come up the stairs and we go to the door, and it's a crash bar. You just push the crash bar and the door opens and you're in the elevator lobby. He goes up and he hits the crash bar and it won't open. And then he hits it again and it won't open. I think he's just trying to freak me out or do something stupid. I'm like, come on, dude, get out of the way. And bam! I hit it as hard as I can and it doesn't budge. There's no magnetic locks on it. It's not locked. The only way that you can lock it is by the crash bar. That's the only physical way you can lock it. So I get on the radio, go, who's in elevator lobby? Control comes back. He goes, just you guys in the basement. I said, did you see anybody on camera? No, nobody's on camera. So we go back down and we take the long way because now we got to walk all the way through the tunnels to get back up, to get back in there to see why the door wouldn't open. And we go there and we pull on the door. Not only it wasn't locked, it just opened. Like we grabbed a hold and it just swung open easy.
So something was holding it, blocking it.
That's what I think at
Oh,
this
absolutely.
point.
With
Now
you
that
hitting it like that?
Yeah, now that I think about those things occurred, and I didn't even put two and two together with that first one. I just thought, that's old building, the doors are screwed up. Something's going on. But I didn't even put those together until then.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's where the podcast came about, right? Because I started thinking about it and I said, well, wait a minute. If all the security guards here have experienced something weird, and typically security guards always work in creepy or abandoned buildings or hospitals at night or other places, then, and all the people here have had stories, then other people have to have stories. So that's where I don't know, I guess you could call it a passion for the paranormal, even though I'm still a skeptic with a lot of it, as we've talked about, where my passion kind of came in. So that's, like I told you guys, that's where I went and got 2 paranormal investigation degrees, because I wanted to know, if I was going to have the show, I wanted to be somewhat knowledgeable about what people talk about. And then I got my parapsychology degree and a cryptozoology degree, because once again, I wanted to have a broader base of knowledge to be able to speak to people about these things.
Right.
And just to try to understand it myself, because I'm still at this point. Well, here's another thing. There's 2 guys on the show with me, Josh and Rod, and they were both working there. And they took a spirit box up, and then they had their EMF, their EMF reader, and they took that up there. And on the second floor, where not in the stairwell, but on the second floor itself, they got a lot of stuff. They heard different names on the. Now here's my problem with spirit boxes. They're just cycling through AM and FM stations. That's what it does. It just cycles through all the stations.
So you could pick up residual
Yes.
from something else out there, and
Right. So
yeah.
do you see that? That's why
They've
I have
always
a problem
seemed a
with
little
them.
hokey to me.
Yes.
And or you get somebody who goes, "Did you hear that? He just said Garrett,"
Yeah.
and you're like, "No,
No.
But then when you listen to it again, because they put that in your mind,
Then you go,
shit,
I
maybe,
can see maybe it was Garrett,
yeah."
and it was probably like, yeah.
Ex-
Something like that. And you're going, oh,
true.
right?
It
And
is
so,
Although on one of the episodes that we just released, we put an EVP on there.
Did you hear that?
You probably didn't
was
hear
it the
that one yet.
second one or the third?
It was the
or
one
fourth?
about me and Brad
I think
and
it's-
our dates.
Oh, out
yeah.
at Asylum 49.
Yes.
Oh, I
yeah.
heard that.
Did you hear that EVP?
So
what did
yeah,
it say?
So it said Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard
Clear
it.
as,
Oh, yeah.
clear as can
Clear
be.
as day.
But here's my problem with that. Okay, it was a girl's voice.
It was a kid's voice.
Okay,
Yeah.
Was it a kid's voice? Or
Yeah.
It sounded kind of like a girl.
No, it was a kid's voice, and we weren't anywhere near the group.
There was
Like,
no
No.
one around.
There was no one near where we were.
One.
But it did sound feminine, higher, but
It
yeah,
did.
like a child.
I thought it was just a kid's voice
But-
when we were
Well,
there.
but that's what I'm saying is that's look. Admittedly, the skeptic.
I love it. Be a
Okay?
skeptic.
But I heard it.
Right.
Okay, I heard it.
I know, we
And
nearly wrecked
I
when
know
we
there
heard
was
it.
nobody else. I know there was nobody else in there because you guys had broken that down really well, and I heard it.
But we didn't tell you what it said.
Oh no,
we didn't,
no,
we didn't
and that's
say
what
anything.
that's what I thought was so cool, because that was one of the things I was going to bring up when we talked about it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I was going to say, but it sounded like a girl to me. But you had said that you had seen kids in there, right? Younger kids. So that makes sense. That maybe a little bit higher effeminate voice might be a younger kid
Yeah.
or younger male, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that I definitely heard it, and that's what I thought was so cool is you guys didn't say what the word was, and you just see if anybody, see what they hear for themselves.
Because that's one of my big pet peeves with EVP.
Yes.
Is everybody's like, oh, they just said this. I'm
Right.
like, no. Let me make that determination for myself.
Right.
So I can actually know if I believe this is accurate or not.
Right.
Because I'm like you. I'm like, no, there was somebody just in the other room that was talking and you picked up what they were saying.
That's and that's a thing, and but there's nothing else you can hear in there.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Nothing.
you've got to debunk things, though. I mean, anytime I come at something like that, I first go at it with that skeptic, and I go, how could this have happened in a way that I can explain it? Is it like when you remember taking the Intoxilator results?
Oh, yeah.
If you keyed your mic, it would go RFI,
Oh, yeah.
RFI.
Yep.
Because it picked that up.
Yep.
I'm the same way. Okay, did we get RFI somewhere? Did we have a conversation from down the road? Did it pick up a radio station? What is it? So
Right.
I'm very much like you in that sense, and I understand. But then being with Nan in some of the situations we've been in, I'm like, I don't have any way
got
to
nothing.
debunk it. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And
Right.
and I've got nothing.
I have some questions though about
Oh,
your
sure.
story. Did you ever look into the history of the building and what's going on? Because when you were talking, I saw an elderly man that's bald, and he's stuck there. He feels like he was a janitor there, and he's the one that messes with the elevators.
I haven't heard anything or found anything about that, but I'll add something to.
I'm gonna go look it up. I'm gonna go dig, because I see him clear as day. If I saw his picture, I probably would pee my pants.
He sounds creepy to me, and he probably was messing with the elevator. And had I known that at the time I was messing with the elevators, I wouldn't have gone in the building, because that would have freaked me out.
Well, maybe he's just cleaning shit. He's just doing his job still.
Could
going,
be.
Yeah, this is my routine.
But speaking of a janitor, one of the Hispanic janitors that works in the elevator lobby, Rod was talking to him when we started doing this whole podcast, just asking him if he's seen anything weird. Did you ever see anything? Didn't say, did you see a little girl or in the elevator lobby or anything? He just said, have you ever seen anything weird in the elevator lobby? Or saw a little girl.
Oh,
That would be your laughing.
she
There it
thinks
is.
it's funny.
Yeah.
She probably thinks it's funny to mess with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
And maybe the reason I didn't experience anything else after that is because I didn't show I was scared. I was just irritated, and I just was like, whatever.
but
Because
doesn't that make sense though? If you
Yeah.
if you give something energy, so if it's something scary and you act afraid and you're afraid, it makes it grow. It's energy. You're giving it your energy. If you're not afraid and you just give it your energy out of choice, you're still giving it energy and you interact with it. If you ignore it, it's going to go away.
that's why it wasn't messing with me. And when it got the rise out of Matt, when he found the wrong keys, it was like, gotcha.
Exactly.
And
Going to have some fun.
Maybe that's why then she appeared to the janitor. You
Right.
know, I mean, who knows?
Well, and if you think about Hispanic culture, they very much believe in the supernatural.
Oh, that's why Rod and
Very
I go
much.
at it. Yeah, that's where Rod and I go at it, because he's straight from Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And he tells me about it. He's like, "Oh, it's real. It's real."
I heard his father was on the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly.
No, serious, Nan. He tells a story that his dad.
Shut the front
No,
door.
seriously,
No.
and he was like, "This
Yeah.
shit's gonna sink. This is gonna sink, you guys."
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and then they kicked him out of the movie theater.
That's the exact thing Rod did
Why
to me.
did I fall for that?
Oh, because I fell for it. Rod did that to me on air. I looked at him and I was like, man, that's a dad joke. I'm the one that should be saying that one. Like, what the heck? Yeah, he got me good with that one.
I have something though that I need to ask you too. I love talking to skeptics. It's fun. You said you saw the thing on the video, right?
Yes.
The recordings. So you see,
I saw it.
One of your gifts is seeing. You also heard the little kids, right? So one of your gifts is hearing. So that's your clear audience. So that's your hearing. So you hear and you see. And you kept saying, I didn't feel anything, which tells me that you feel. You felt shit before. You just don't feel it all the time. And with you being as empathic as you are and being able to shut down your energy to not let people in, you feel too. So that's 3 of your 5 main senses that you actually do, that you could actually sharpen those 3 and it could be booming.
I don't know if I want it to boom.
That's
you know what
fair.
I mean?
But it's your choice. But I mean, how cool for you to be able to experience all those things and then sharpen them and be able to go to your haunted places and be able to truly experience them because they're not scary. They're not. There's a history. They're people.
Speaking of history, you were able to go to the Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
There's
Tell
some
us
interesting
all about
history
it.
there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Did you pee your pants?
Oh, no.
Good,
Once-
because that's just messy.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah, it's-
bad.
yeah.
We did. We went to Skinwalker Ranch.
Thank you for listening to the Mormon Medium Podcast.
We have been talking to LtG with the PSS After Hours podcast. He shared a great ghost story with us, even though he's pretty cynical, but we've learned that he does have some gifts.
Now, this conversation does span over multiple episodes.
So stay tuned to hear LT's experience at the Skinwalker Ranch. More ghost stories, and let's see if we can win him over.
If you'd like to listen to the PSS After Hours podcast, book a reading or an energy healing with Nanette, or even buy the Mormon Medium a cup of coffee, go check out the show notes and tap on the links. I promise you don't want to miss out.